young blood, pour me a shot of that blue milk. Ain't Star Wars some shit? Modern Greek mythology. The pinnacle of filmmaking. Just some fun-ass, lighthearted adventures in space. Oh, damn. That lady got fucked up. Now, where I'm from, they ain't got no Star Wars. Only blockbuster they had back home was MK82s. So my 5-year-old ass hopped on a boat to America. Bro, go on to become the lovable Chicago homeless man you know today. I finally got to see me some Star Wars. And let me tell y'all, that shit fine. Now, we live in kind of a third age of Star Wars, where love of the franchise is at peak hysteria.
Please welcome BB-8!
Bruh. So in this video, y'all finna hear me ramble about Star Wars in the modern day, and some of my cocaine-fueled thoughts on the future of the franchise. Now, before I begin, I gotta go collect some welfare checks, so I can buy a new BB-8 chair for my lovely home. I'm sure a lot of y'all noticed this predominant Hollywood tactic known as nostalgia bait. Nostalgia bait, motherfucker. In a world where painless suicide methods cost less than a trip to the movies, studios need to have surefire hits to ensure that the few times the patrons are in the theater, they're watching their movie. Star Wars is a obvious prominent example of this. Ain't nobody dumb enough to think that Disney dug up Star Wars from the grave for artistic reasons. Oh, there's just so much more that can be done with the story. We have to continue the saga of the Skywalkers for the fans. Nah, Star Wars was revived for its brand recognition, and Disney is making sure to use that nostalgia bait to get you patrons in the theaters. Now, let me be clear, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Look at The Force Awakens, aka nostalgia bait done well. It was a perfectly fine movie ripe with flaws, but it made up for it in heart and charm. Rogue One is an example of pointless nostalgia. By now everyone knows what an embarrassment Rogue One was, but it was still a financial success, which I, along with my friends, feel spells some amount of shit for the future of Star Wars. Cause you can't keep repeating the same X-Wings, TIE Fighters, and shit from the original trilogy forever. Or can you? Hey, chill, bruh. Yo, chill. Yo. Alright, let's talk about the Han Solo movie. The film as of now is being directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who made lighthearted films like the 21 Jump Street films.
Hey, you want me to beat your dick off?
You want to beat my dick off?
The Lego films.
That's $37.
And Storks. Now, this don't mean a whole lot in terms of what direction they'll take the future films, but I think the best way to make some of these spin-off films work would be to deviate from the tone of a typical Star Wars movie and do something that is a little lighter. I mean, the original trilogy is already pretty campy and lighthearted. I'm talking about how lit it would be if it was a straight comedy. I'm not talking Guardians of the Galaxy Marvel brand Disney-approved humor.
Star-Lord.
Who?
Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw. Guys,
Move!
I'm talking Coen Brothers. Comedy of errors style humor. I don't know, I think that shit could be pretty compelling. It ain't like the movie has much going for it now anyway. I mean, I thought they would do a similar tone shift for Rogue One. I mean, it's supposed to be a bunch of people stealing important plans. Why not make it a heist movie? Seriously, dawg, why not? It's not like you need these spin-off movies to break $1 billion or anything. You have the main movies to bring in the real blockbuster money. Why not scale back the budgets and make some more, fun movies? Do you really think people's interest in Star Wars will wane if they don't have a huge tentpole movie every year? Motherfuckers was out here for a minute between the original trilogy and the prequels, and between the prequels and episode 7. I myself kept occupied in between trilogies by reading the expanded universe novels. I got them by jacking kids on the way out from my local library. Great stories such as the new Jedi Order series, where they like drop a moon on Chewbacca or something, and they fight these things that look like Yu-Gi-Oh monsters. The fuck is that? The Jedi Prince series, where there's a character that's actually named Triclops, and even better, Trioculus, Death Trooper. Just some fun, light reading. And this book, which has a character that looks like this. But back to the movies. Regardless of how you felt about Rogue One, I think it's interesting to look at the behind-the-scenes mess that made up the production of the film. Constant reshoots for tone, rushed production, and plenty of what studios do best. Meddle in everything and fuck up what could have been a great movie. This is the worry and concern that I'm talking about. The shit make me shake at night for real. You could even say that I have a bad feeling about it. The same bad feeling we all got when Suicide Squad had to do a bunch of reshoots. Good thing that all worked out in the end. Anyway, the worry I'm talking about is yes men directors who are willing to bend over backwards for these studios. Joss Whedon got out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe cause he wasn't gonna be nobody's bitch. Edgar Wright bounced out of that Ant-Man movie. Kenneth Branagh said fuck Thor. And even JJ's taking a back seat after realizing he couldn't ruin two beloved science fiction franchises. All of this because the studios kept checking them at every possible opportunity. I mean, if I was a director, I'd be pissed too if somebody fucked up my script to set up Captain America 24. I get that Disney is an entertainment powerhouse that wants to control these films to ensure they keep their cash banthas rolling. But don't no director want to include scenes like this in their movie. So, Disney trying to get some more yes-men directors like Gareth Edwards who are a little more moldable. I think this is why they got Colin Trevorrow for episode 9, considering how he did Jurassic World, which is similar in tone to episode 7, and thus other Disney blockbusters. I feel like he might also be a yes man for the studios to turn into their personal little fuck toy. Again, with budgets for films being so high, it's only natural that studios will want to play it as safe as they possibly can. But when other films are coming out that show the benefits of just letting a director, make their movie, it's getting a little harder to stomach the shit that Hollywood's shoving down our throats. At the end of the day, it's all about films being A, subservient to the script, or B, subservient to the market. I don't agree with no pretentious film student shit talking about
mainstream movies are like so dumb, fam.
I gotta say, even though I'm shitting on these big blockbusters, a lot of them aren't bad movies. They're just not great. Or they could be greater, but fall short because of subservience to the market. Everybody knows market full of some dumbass motherfuckers. Let's look at some examples. Keeping up with Star Wars films, look at A New
You
Hope.
must learn the ways of the Force, if you're to come with me to Alderaan.
Characters and plot points arise out of a need to tell a story. At the time, Lucas had a vision for what he wanted to create. The tone he wanted the movie to have, the look, the feel. This is what we mean when we say something feels inspired. It's called making art, motherfucker. This will be an example of a film being subservient to the script. Now let's look at Rogue One. We can see the opposite. Can you honestly look at Rogue One outside of the context of the Star Wars universe and say it's a good film? Sure, it's a pretty standard action movie with great CGI and intense action scenes. Nothing wrong with that. But does it feel inspired? Does it feel like Gareth Edwards sat down and said,
Man, I really want to make a movie with this creative idea that I have.
as opposed to saying,
It's a Star Wars movie, so we gotta have shit people know.
let's think about the idea I said earlier. What if the filmmaker sat down and said,
Let's make this fun heist film where these likable characters have to work together to steal something of value in service of a cause that's way bigger than all of them. Oh yeah, it just so happens that it also takes place in the Star Wars universe.
I don't know, The movie could have turned out to be a big pile of shit anyway. Seriously, who gives a fuck how they found the plans to the Death Star? All I'm saying is that it's interesting to think how some of these big blockbuster films could be different if they were less concerned with fitting a safe, money-making template and more concerned with making a movie. Imagine a universe where Edgar Wright got to make a movie about a crook with a wacky suit who goes on a goofy adventure using his style of humor and filmmaking that also just so happens to feature the character Ant-Man and that also happens to take place in the Marvel Universe. Imagine a world where Joss Whedon got to make an Avengers sequel that had just as tight of a script as the first one without anyone to tell him that he has to add weird subplots. Imagine a universe where Zack Snyder... well, let's skip him. Nah, this of course is all naive rambling. After all, I'm just a borderline insane homeless Vietnamese man living in Chicago with no real idea of how the film industry works. At the end of the day, everyone's gotta make that guap. It's all wishful thinking. The direction Star Wars is taking is pretty reflective of how the industry is moving as a whole. Bigger, better, y'all gotta find that formula that works, huh? And we'll keep this motherfucker rolling until we're all nothing more than space dust, floating around lifeless and irrelevant.